He did it! He did it! Looney did it!
I want to go higher!
Batted up.
Oh, God! Stokely! Down the side!
Okay. Let's move on to the last thing before we get into our draft. And it's just an angry time.
Just an angry time.
God,
oh, no.
I am just not happy. So if you don't know, which you probably don't, I am an avid player of video games.
Mm-hmm.
And
as well, but less so.
Sports games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have played almost. Maybe that's too much to say. I've played a lot of the major sports titles that have come out in like the last 10 years. I always buy 2K. I always buy Madden. Whenever one of the other sports like NHL, FIFA, one of those becomes discounted or free in some cases, I will definitely snag that up and I will play the shit out of it. So I know what a good sports game is. I know a sports game that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, in this installment of Madden,
The hit shake there was very nice.
awful. So, all right. I want to break it down because this may lose some people. If you don't play Madden, you're not going to know what I'm talking about for the most part, but I'll try to make it a little more clear. So there's mainly, for many years, there's been 3 modes, realistically. Especially since 2013. There's been 3 modes. There's been franchise mode, there's been ultimate team, and then there's been just, regular play, whether that's online or against the CPU, and it's just a normal exhibition game. All right? The big complaint against Madden games for last year is too much focus on this ultimate team, which is the moneymaker in which you have to pay real money or grind countless hours to open packs that'll let you build your team out. And then you'll pay $20. You'll get yourself a nice 99 overall Lamar Jackson card. And then in about 2 weeks, that card is worthless because now there is a 99 Lamar Jackson card who also has 99 in every other stat. And so anything you do devalues immediately. There's no carryover between Ultimate Team. If you wasted all your money, if you spent $100 to build this optimal team, the next year you're going to have to spend another $100 because that team doesn't carry over. So that's Ultimate Team. That's really all I need to say about Ultimate Team. It's always been a shit show.
Sucks.
It's been ruining the game for a
entirely.
long time. But let's talk more specifically, instead of just an overarching theme about the Madden franchise. Let's talk about Madden 21 individually. All right. The big back of the box feature for Madden this year, and I'm going to start here with the Yard. Okay. The Yard was proposed to fans as a 7-on-7 football experience, similar to what you might get in My Park in NBA 2K. And you can play with your friends, go 7-on-7, get complete control. You get all your buddies, and you get to play wide receiver and quarterback and running back and blah, blah, blah. All right? What they actually gave us was a game that they already had in the game called Superstar KO, in which you draft a team and then you play against another CPU or another player who's controlling the quarterback and then CPUs. It's like playing an exhibition game, except there's like some more crazy flashy animations or something. So for the Yard, all they did was take Superstar KO, add some flashy animations behind the back passes, weird jukes, and then get rid of the offensive line. And now you're playing.
Get rid of it.
Now you're just playing Superstar KO with 7 players. You get to have Kyler Murray at running back and Xavier McKinney at wide receiver and stupid shit, right? And it's like, oh, look, and they got cool uniforms. And you could take your face of the franchise player and put him in. But you don't even play as your face of the franchise player. You're not player locked. It's just like playing any other game. You're stuck at the quarterback, whoever you throw it to, then you're that player. It's just like playing an exhibition game they've added, but they've made it more arcadey. So they pitched this game as you were going to have all your friends play with you, but you can't find random people in the game. You have to either be pre-made. If you want to have a full 7 team, you have to have 7 friends get on this game that no one's going to buy and play with you. It's not a real mode. It's really just a tweak. It's just a tweak. I've been playing a game that is free on Steam. Steam is the application where you can buy games for your PC. I've been playing a game that is free, a game that is $60 cheaper than Madden, made by a company that is billions of dollars cheaper than Madden, that has a better 7-on-7 football game, that actually matches you with random players, that actually lets you control. The theme of Madden for the last decade has been a lack of control. That is the biggest problem. Do you know what a QuickTime event is, Thomas?
I'm aware of what a quick time event is. Yes.
All right, let me explain a quick time event to anyone who's listening and might not know. A quick time event is essentially a cutscene, like a little movie that to make the little movie progress, you have to press a button at the right time. So it'll be like, oh, this guy's running down, you got to turn left, so you got to hit left on your stick real quick, and he'll turn left. All right, some
like
shit
mash
like that.
circle to escape.
Yeah,
Like that.
someone's holding you got to mash down the circle button until you get away. So Madden in recent years has become a glorified QuickTime event. What we have is zero control. You drop back as the quarterback. Yeah, you can maybe move around, avoid getting sacked, but it doesn't work too well in the first place. Pretty much 90% of the time you'll just roll out anyway because the blocking physics make no sense and people just get off. The AI don't block anyone. And then you'll press A, B, Y, whatever you're going to press. You throw it up and the game will flip a coin and say, does this animation happen? Does the catch animation happen? Or does the interception animation happen? Or does the drop animation happen? You have no control over what happens. You can't place the ball in a specific place. You can try with their new, high pass and low pass that's been in the game for the last few years. But if you throw a low pass, it has the same chance of getting caught if you throw a high pass. There's really no difference and no control over what happens after you throw the ball. Same goes for running. Same goes for tackling. If someone tackles you at a weird angle, they're still going to get the animation of tackling you from whatever angle they tackled. There's really no control in this game. That's the biggest problem. And that doesn't just go to gameplay. That covers every single facet of the game. That even includes franchise mode. Franchise mode has 4 things to do. All right? You can play the games, you can draft, you can sign free agents, and you can trade. And that's it.
That's it. And all 3 of those 4 systems are bare bones and suck.
No one wants to play the games.
Don't make any sense.
No one wants to play the games. The gameplay sucks. Until you can make the game interesting and feel like you control, no one wants to play the games in franchise mode. Mm-hmm. I have found myself enjoying franchise mode more from not playing the games. Mm-hmm. I will just sim for 10 years and just build a team every year. And as bare bones as free agency is and as bare bones as drafting is, at least it's something and there's some variable from season to season that something's changing. With the gameplay, it seems as if there's not... In real football, sometimes things work and sometimes don't, and it's situational. In Madden, things either always work or they don't ever work. You've got 2 options. And so if you were to play the games, and Thomas is well aware of this, and as am I, we have had franchises in the past where we could take the worst team in the league and go 16-0 every year if we just ran the cheese plays.
Yes.
And so to make the game harder on ourselves, we will run cheese plays most of the time, and then every once in a while throw in a not cheese play just so we're not blowing them out 50-0 every game.
We'll throw in a sluggo route or something.
Something that doesn't work.
Yes. Doesn't work. Not even that it just isn't good for the situation. Just something that doesn't work.
There's literally going to be about 5 plays that work, and then every other play doesn't work.
Yes.
And it just depends on how they build Madden that year and how they decide what things win the coin toss and what don't. You look at a game like 2K that has a far superior franchise mode that hasn't been touched in years. But what they do is they give you these little things. You get to the off season, it can take just as much as time if you were to, because I also don't play the games in NBA because I just like to get through seasons fast. But the gameplay, what I won't do in Madden is every once in a while jump into a game or play the playoff games or something like that because it's always bullshit. Whereas 2K, it's like, oh, I just want to see how my team plays, so I'll jump into the game and play a little bit with them. Most of the time I sim, but when you get to the off season of 2K, there's almost as much to do in the off season, if not more to do in the off season there is during the season. It starts right away with player retirements. We get a whole screen dedicated to player retirements. You go, oh, LeBron James just retired. That's cool. What team was he on when he retired? Or you'll see CJ McCollum retired. Wow, CJ McCollum wasn't on a team at age 35. I guess he had regressed down to a 78 and he couldn't find a spot on any team. You're getting storylines immediately in your head from this game. Then you get staff signings. That's something we don't have in Madden.
Which is crazy that if you're a head coach, you can't be like, this is my OC, this is my DC. That's nuts.
And staff signings matter in 2K. You will win because you've signed a head coach who is like an A+ overall on offense, or those things matter. There's stats for coaches. They don't even have coaches really, and you're the coach. There's no difference in play style between team to team. Every coach is the same. in
And
Madden.
you can say like, oh, there's different playbooks. It's like they all pull from the same pool of like 90 plays. There's no difference. So the only difference is like, oh, one slant will be called like Panthers dig or Patriots slant. That's the only difference. And there's no actual difference between the play. Every team somehow has a play in their playbook from the Colts years ago where it was the worst play ever, where there's 3 offensive linemen, receivers over here. It was like a fake punt. Every team had that in their playbook somehow in Madden 19. Every team has the Philly special, which is the touchdown pass in the Super Bowl where Nick Foles caught it from the tight end. Why does every team have that in their playbook?
Yeah. There's no difference between
there's no
difference.
difference.
There's no difference in play style from team to team. In 2K, you know, there's head coaches who have, you know, a pace of play, like their style is a fast-paced offense. It says like, oh, they're a pace offense. And then you'll have grit and grind. And when you see those coaches, when you hire those coaches on your team, you see your team play different. Like that's important to have for a franchise mode. You need to have something that each year is different.
Some people might say, well, 2K hasn't really changed their franchise mode in years either. You're right, but they don't need to because they have the framework done. They don't need to add all this extra stupidness. Madden literally has not had a competent franchise mode since like before
2009
maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe, right? So like, and all they have to do is make it good once, and they don't have to touch it ever again, or at least not for a very long time. But they haven't.
In terms of franchise mode, the little things matter. Things like coaching trees. Things like...
I won't even say those little things. Those are basic things that you need to have.
They're little things, though, because you think they shouldn't be there. They're little. You should have to... They should just be there. Like, you shouldn't have to think that needs to be added.
The state of Madden franchise is like a mobile game right now. There's so little to do. It's a mobile game. So
every time a new Madden comes out, I have fun with it because there's slight tweaks. There's usually something redeeming about it that I can go, okay, well, this is a little different from last year. And I can play it for about a month and a half consistently before I hit this point where I feel like I've done everything I can in this game. There's nothing new for me to experience. And then I don't play the game. And I turn on the game, look at it for a little while and go, what am I going to do? And then I turn it off. That usually comes about a month, 2 months into playing the game.
Yes.
For this Madden, and this is full disclosure because this might discredit my review, I have not bought the game and I will not buy the game. I had the 10-hour demo. 5 hours into the 10-hour demo, I can't find anything I want to do in the game.
Well, it's also because it's the same shit. It's
I
Madden
feel like
20.
I've experienced everything from franchise mode in Madden 20. There is no jump. They've turned it blue. That's all they've done.
The joke is literally before Madden 21 even came out, they were saying, here's what's going to be in Madden 22 franchise. And it's like, we don't care. Like, you've burnt all the goodwill, which you had none to begin with. But any possible goodwill you had is gone.
I cannot recommend anyone to buy this game. I've seen reviewers who I feel are dishonest in saying, if you wanted to play this game for the yard, maybe you could purchase it. No, the yard is not what you think it is. There is nothing. Just go play Superstar KO on Madden 20. It's the same game.
Or just don't play Madden.
Madden's not good.
Don't play Madden. It's not fun.
There's games, right, that are not as good because they don't have the budget to be as smooth as Madden. Don't have that Madden polish. But they do the little things right, and it makes the game so much more enjoyable. I
would say...
Go ahead.
Okay. I would say that the polish that Madden has is like, it's not even really that polished anymore. Starting really from 19 onward, the games have all been super buggy at launch. They've all been ridiculous. The commentary's been whatever. There has the gleam of polish that used to be there isn't there anymore because it's just not there anymore. It might be the best looking football game on the market, but it still doesn't look good. I don't think Madden is a good looking game. I think all the character models look weird. It's impossible to make a white dude in the game without him making him look ugly as shit for some reason. I don't know where the work goes in Madden. I don't think they start working on it until like 4 months before release. My theory, which is probably wrong, is literally they have 5 supervisors and then it's like 40 people straight out of college that are like, all right, work on Madden for a year and then you'll get sent to another EA studio to work on Battlefield or something.
Right.
Like that's how I feel like the game is made, because it's just, I don't see where the work goes. If they start a year, like say they start a month after the first Madden comes out, I don't see where the work goes. No idea.
It's like they've built themselves on the hype of Madden, that every year we get Madden ratings adjusters, and we're gonna have a whole
which
ESPN
which
event.
are always wrong. They're always wrong too.
They didn't used to have that, and the games were more accurately depicting what was. They didn't have guys who had to go on the field. You could look at a game and be like, well, this guy's the best one. This is the second best one. You know, just talk to football people and figure out what they feel about the game.
If you look at the older Maddens, it almost seems like, or if you look at the newer Maddens, it almost seems like nobody actually enjoys football playing. That makes the game. They have one guy, his name's like Clint Oldenburg, who's like a former NFL offensive lineman, and it's like, what? Like, how is the game this? Especially the O-line part of it. How is the O-line this bad? How is the blocking this dumb? How is this still this way after all this time? And it's just like, this is the first year where I've kind of seen like an actual like outcry of like, man, why are we playing Madden? Like,
this is the first year I'm not going to buy the game. And I had all intentions of buying it. They really fucked up putting out that 10-hour demo, because I would have bought it if I didn't get to play that 10-hour demo.
Well, the 10-hour demo is essentially a beta test.
And I've got the whole game. I figured it out. I figured out what I'm going to get out of the game in 2 or 3 hours. You know?
Well, because you're not an Ultimate Team streamer, so you have nothing there. You're not like we're not like
competitive.
Creator.
We're not like competitive
which
players.
The competitive Madden scene is a fucking
It's
joke,
just who can cheese better.
It's 5 plays over and over again with the same playbook with mostly the same teams. I think last year it was still the Seahawks somehow because they have Russell Wilson. It's usually been the Seahawks in every single game. Shit, this year they have Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams are the only 2 players to have an X factor where literally it's like if they tackle you, it's a fumble no matter what. And it's like, just Madden has gone so far away from like authentic football that I don't think it can even be considered that anymore.
How do they have an exclusive right to create simulation football when they don't?
Because they still make money. They still make money, and it's all semantics. And people are saying.
I was going to say, have you been on Twitter today?
No.
So right now the number one trending thing is NFL drop EA.
Please, they won't because they just signed.
They just signed a big ass deal, but
so.
We gotta find a way to force them out. We gotta find something wrong with them.
Madden has not been like enjoyable since
the early years, like not early years,
before 2010.
Yeah, like that stretch before the new, before 2010. I think 2008, 2009 were good games. 2010 was okay. I think really everything went downhill in 2013.
Well, because then they went to the new engine. 2013 was terrible because when you got touched, you fell the fuck over and it was impossible to run.
And that's when they changed the franchise mode from superstar mode and franchise mode to connected franchise. Yeah, which is
hilarious because the state of that was bad then, but the state of that, I wish we had that now.
Yes,
because at least then you would get draft stories where like Smokey Robinson said he was injured but was caught dunking at a park, so he wasn't really injured. So
how can you go every year and just take something out? You're not adding anything. You're just removing.
Because you make money. Why would you I bet the development team has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. The overhead for the entire cost of the game has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think this is finally maybe, especially because this is a transitional year when the PS4 and PS5 are coming, or I'm sorry, the PS5 and the new Xbox are coming out, nerd shit, whatever. I think it'll be lower sales and they'll be like, oh fuck, but maybe they'll just use that excuse like, well, the new shit's coming out, so whatever, we can just keep doing what we're doing.
Right.
But I mean, if the trailer, because they show a Madden trailer at E3 every year, which is the video game show for all those not put together. You might want to put a timestamp on this episode, like here's where the video game talk starts and here's where it stops. But like if all they do is show like, look how realistic our grass is, look at the jersey wrinkles, like it's like, then I don't care. Like I didn't care this year when that's what they showed. And then the just insulting where they're like, we listen to our community, and it's like, no, you don't. So
you know how I knew that the yard wasn't going to be good?
I kind of knew off rip, but keep going.
Because it took them, it wasn't like one of the first things they announced.
Yeah.
Like it got leaked. It wasn't even announced, it just got leaked. And
is Superstar
it's because
KO
they didn't
still in the game?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
They are the same game mode.
Yeah, oh no, yeah.
Just one does not have an offensive line.
And it's just, and the other thing is like, we wouldn't even like, it's not like that we dislike the game modes. It's just like, why are you doing this when all this other stuff needs so much work to even be halfway competent?
I think
That's like what?
the only pitch anyone ever has for this game, of all the reviews I've seen thus far, have been, if you really want to play the yard, that's the only reason to get this game. I don't even think that's accurate. Just the yard is not even what you think it is. You can get.
Is it worth $60? Yeah.
No, it is not worth $60. The game is not worth $10.
Mm-hmm.
It's an update to Madden 20. Mm-hmm. You know how they added Superstar? You know how they added Superstar KO in Madden 20?
Yeah.
They could have just as easily added the yard. There's nothing different.
There's nothing else new. They're probably like, shit, we don't have anything new. Make up something new quick. It's like 4 weeks till release. Oh shit.
The gameplay doesn't even feel new at all.
It's the same shit, and it'll be the same shit forever, because that's just how it goes. There will never be another good football game, like good football game ever.
Go support indie football games. That's all I could say.
Well, so let's name some. So Gridiron, like you said, no, that's not really simulation football.
It's not simulation football. If you want simulation football, Axis is good. Doug Flutie, Maximum Football.
Now, Axis and Doug Flutie's Maximum Football are both janky as crap because they're low budget games. So don't go into it expecting like, oh, it's going to be like Madden. No. Yeah. It'll be janky. It probably is only for really diehard football fans.
It's only for people who really hate Madden.
Like me.
So,
yes.
I would recommend Gridiron, though. It is probably, weirdly enough, despite being robots and aliens and shit, playing football, 7-on-7 football, it probably captures the experience of playing football better than any football game I've played. Just because I think I'm gonna make a video about this, so I won't go too deep into it here. But the fact that you have a team around you, there feels like there's team chemistry. There's players on your team who are worse than others because everyone's user controlled. There's no CPUs in the game. It feels like it plays like real football. You go, okay, this guy can't cover this guy. We're gonna have to double this guy because our corner over here sucks at playing the game. So we need to get a safety over the top of him every play. Mm-hmm. Shit like that makes it feel like you're strategizing, playing real football.
There is no strategy. I mean, there is strategy in Madden, but it's learning how to break the game in your favor.
Yeah. There's football strategy in a game like Gridiron, whereas there's Madden strategy in Madden, which is not the same.
What year is it where if you nano blitz guys on defense, it was just unblockable? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Like, you know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember though.
Is you send like an extra blitzer and it was like, nope, it's over, done with, defense won. It's just, I mean, and players are starting to call out Madden 2 now, which is great. Like Kyler Murray is like, why can't I run away from DTs in the pocket? Like I run a 4-4 or 4-5. Like this is stupid. So
I think real change could be coming. Whether it be, I just think this is the year I've never seen this much outcry for Madden.
It'll still sell.
This is a different level of outcry.
What they'll do is they'll wheel out the same guy that wheeled out to be like, we're listening to our community. He might get fired because he'll be a scapegoat. They'll bring in somebody new, and then they'll add they'll give like an inch, and then that's the only inch they'll give for like the next 10 years. So
yeah, we'll have to see. I'm really hoping it's less on EA's side and more on the NFL's side. The NFL is getting lumped into this in some way.
Well,
if you have enough negative,
if
you have enough negative criticism, I think at some point that gets to someone, something's going to happen, and I'm just hoping. So just keep up doing what you're doing. If you hate fucking Madden, keep telling them you hate Madden, because it has gotten to a point. It has gotten to a point where it is not salvageable. It is the meme used to be that it's the same every year. This game is literally a copy of Madden 20.
And I would say 20 was basically a copy of 19 without
20 had
19
20 had tweaks that made it playable for a month. This game does not. I can't with this game. I buy every Madden every year, and I cannot do it this year. I cannot justify spending $60.